This place brings in over 12 million visitors a year, but most people will tell you that it's just a giant overpriced photo opportunity. And that's why today we are investigating if Niagara Falls is in fact the world's largest tourist trap. Let's get on into it.
For the next 2 days, we'll be exploring Niagara Falls to figure out what's actually worth your time. On day 1, we're doing Niagara like a first time visitor, hitting all the top attractions right in the heart of it. On day 2, we're changing things up, visiting a local farmer's market, talking to people who live here, and letting them guide us to the side of Niagara most tourists never see. Along the way, I'll be ranking each stop on a tourist trap scale, based on how essential it is, how expensive it was, and whether it actually felt worth it by the end. The goal being to help you plan a great trip to the Niagara region.
Gotta go into the bathtub that I'm sure 1,000 other people have been in. And so naturally, we had to start today's video with the most touristy activity possible, the Hornblower Niagara City Cruises, to get a view of the falls. And I'm way too hyped for this. Right behind me, this looks insane already. And I'm getting the feeling that if you don't get here early, we're here at 8:30, there's a huge line that shows up. The tunnel to get down here is absolutely insane. How we feeling? Tired. Been on an adventure this weekend. That's for sure. The iconic ponchos now. We're running a little late here in natural tourist form. How does this work? Oh, I got it. How are you so fast at it? All right, we gotta go. We're running late.
The Hornblower cruise might actually be something that lives up to the hype. You get right up close to the base of the Horseshoe Falls, one of the most powerful waterfalls in the world, with over 2,800 cubic meters of water crashing down every second. The ride is loud, misty, and honestly completely unforgettable. You're handed a poncho, but you will not stay dry, even though it's just a short ride, maybe 20 minutes.
How would you rate our experience? 10 out of 10. We're gonna get the official rating when we get off though, but this was actually fun to start the video. All right, and now it's time for the new segment on today's video, which is the trap ranking. The ponchos are off. I'm absolutely soaked, but that was a very worthwhile experience. For $45 a person, I'm actually surprised because I figured it was gonna be like a 5-minute boat ride around the water, but no. So I'm giving that an 8 out of 10. I think even though it's extremely touristy activity to do, it's an absolute must when you come here, but that's not to say that's gonna carry through for everything we're up to today. Now, no trip to a tourist zone will be complete without judging a touristy Starbucks. You see, the real trick to judging a tourist zone is understanding the differences in Starbucks prices. Because a regular cold brew is somewhere around like $4. We got to see the markup to know if we're in a true tourist zone or not. Okay, you will not believe these tourist prices. I had to pull this up for myself. We've got $4.85 for a cold brew back home, and an egg bite is $5.65. Here, a cold brew was $7. We have the new Cool Lime Refresher, which was $8 here. And get this, we're gonna get the egg bites. They're normally $5.65 back home. Here, they were $9. And the surest sign of a tourist zone is when they take sticky tabs or like marker, cross out original prices, and then overwrite them on the menu. And that was the first thing we saw. Michaela pointed it out, and we were just like, yeah, we know we're in Niagara Falls 1.
And you cannot visit Niagara Falls without visiting a education tourist destination.
And to cross that educational criteria piece off of our tourist trap bucket list, we're here at the Niagara Power Plant and Tunnel to see if this is a worthwhile thing to visit. This was built in 1905, the first power plant to actually be installed on Niagara Falls, harnessing the power through massive underground tunnel turbines from the water that cascades over Niagara Falls. They've apparently renovated this entire thing. They let you go into those tunnels and turbines, and we're gonna see if this is a boom or a bust, and if you should come visit. All right, and we got our audio guides as we walked in. We paid. I didn't know how much this was going to cost. And if we follow the definition of a tourist trap, it's that we're paying too much for these things and not getting the payoff. This was $72 for 2 people for a museum. That probably won't take us an hour. We're going to find out, but we're already at a very expensive day. They told us they have a Tesla coil that they're charging up. I think I've ever seen a Tesla coil in person, but it sounds like something that I would pay to see when I come to Niagara Falls.
What makes the power station stand out is how immersive and well executed the entire visit is. The restored power station itself feels like a time capsule filled with massive turbines, vintage control panels, and stories about the people who once worked here. The exhibits are now modern and interactive, and they've managed to keep the raw industrial feel of the space intact. And because it doesn't rely on gimmicks, it's honestly a really genuine, wholesome experience that I would happily recommend.
Well, now we know what a Tesla coil is. And after a pretty sketchy elevator ride down, we've made it to the tunnel of the power station. Honestly, I was a little underwhelmed about the sort of experience so far, but this is absolutely wild. All right, and for context, they have a map on what's above us. This was the tunnel that we went all the way down, and it looks as though 648 meters ahead of us is where we're gonna go and come out in front of Niagara Falls. Oh, this is crazy. Look at this tunnel. This is well worth the money and the time to come here. You get to learn, you get to see an incredible view of the falls. We saw a cool Tesla coil demonstration. I had no idea what that was this morning. So why wouldn't you do this? All right, and we're back because we have to do the trap ranking. This is not a tourist trap at all. 100% worth it. That tunnel was so cool. You have to try that out. So it's a must visit, in my opinion, from that tunnel. Is it expensive? Yes. I think $72 for 2 people. Still pretty pricey for what it is. But with the view you get, you could honestly save on Maid of the Mist and save on Journey Behind the Falls and combine it here. So like really cool from there. And then is it worthwhile? Yeah. You already heard me say that. This is worthwhile. I'm going to give this a 3 out of 10 on the trap ranking. Not a trap. Definitely one to visit. All right, now we're at our third test of today, Bird Kingdom, for our exotic tourist attraction. Let's see if this one's a boom or a bust. We got our tickets, $63. Let's see if this one's any good. Now, this whole attraction is supposed to simulate a rainforest by being 4 different levels, and that's supposed to be 4 different floors of the rainforest. The birds are kind of just everywhere, but I get the concept in practice. It's very, very, very well done. Look at that. You walk right through the door and we have a little blue jay. Hi, buddy.
Given that this video is about exploring the real Niagara, Bird Kingdom technically falls as a tourist attraction. It's more of a novelty for the area than it is something that helps you experience the Niagara region. That said, it is the world's largest free-flying aviary, and I think because of that reason, it's something worth experiencing. They also have efforts for conservation, which I think is worth supporting. So I'm going to give this a 5 out of 10 on the tourist trap ranking because it's not authentic to the Niagara area, but it is a unique destination that could be cool if you're excited about seeing cool birds. Our next destination is nothing like this though, because
we're on Clifton Hill, and this is the most infamous spot in all of Niagara Falls. We're gonna go show you what's here, so you can make your own conclusion on if this is a tourist trap or not. But I think by just even looking behind me and what's going on in the background, it's pretty clear.
So first up is
the Hershey store, a rainforest cafe. So there's also a Hard Rock cafe, so you can't leave here without getting one of those t-shirts for 30 bucks. So let's just actually see if it's really worth $30. And we got the shirt, $45. 30's on discount at this place. The Wax Museum for entrance of $13. There's a few haunted houses with this one, a Dracula themed one, and the main one is the Frankenstein one for $14. And look, even a hotel with my name. A Ripley's Believe It or Not for $30. The Upside Down House for $14. A go-kart track called the Niagara Speedway, which is $14 per person for every 5 minutes of racing. And of course, we've got the Niagara Sky Wheel, which is the Ferris wheel to my right, with the Dino Golf that has a active volcano on the property. This is $13. The Ferris wheel is $15 for one ride. With that, we're gonna head on into day 2, hear from the locals what they recommend to do that's not on this street and in this general area, and hopefully find what the real Niagara is actually like.
It is day 2, and we are at Niagara Falls at their lookout point here at sunrise-ish. It's been raining all morning. This is the earliest we've been able to get here. And the reason why we're here is because we got to grab some photos. You can't come to Niagara Falls without getting some photos. But today's the day that we're going to change things up. We're looking for the non-touristy side of the city after everything we experienced. So after we're done here,
we're gonna go to the Niagara Falls Farmers Market because
we're gonna see what they have here. You guys know me by now. I love visiting these kinds of things. I've got high hopes. There's a lot of fresh food here.
I'm here with Lisa. Would you mind introducing yourself and telling us a little bit about your business?
This is a family-run business that my husband started. Just really felt like he had a passion for baking. You can see our bagels are not small.
They're huge.
Yeah, and we have 10 different flavors to choose from.
Very cool. What would you say were your favorite things to do in the area?
Niagara Falls is great. The Gorge Trail is amazing. See the whirlpool and the rapid. The river is like so beautiful. There's always something natural to look at. Just think actually Niagara Falls has a lot of beautiful gardens because we have the School of Horticulture. So like everywhere you go, there's lots of beautiful gardens and stuff.
We gotta check that out. Cool. Well, we're gonna try a bagel. Thank you so much for chatting with us. Now I'm with Carrie.
My business is called Niagara Sourdough. Produce organic sourdough bread.
And you've been in Niagara your whole life?
I grew up in Niagara Falls. Then I moved out to Victoria, BC, and now I'm back here.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's been your favorite part of Niagara that you think more people should know about?
We're just so close to everything. I mean, I know Toronto thinks they're the center of the universe, but you know, everything is so accessible. I think hiking down the gorge is one of my favorite things. I would say fireworks is awesome that we have that every night. Actually, I mean, for people who don't have that opportunity, and I think that I don't appreciate how beautiful the vineyards are and everything.
I started this actually 12 years ago when my first daughter was born.
Oh wow.
She had eczema, and up to this day she's still allergic to like everything else that touches her skin except for shea butter.
Okay. What's been your most popular SKU?
Vanilla and pineapple.
Okay.
Yeah, you want to smell it?
Yeah, I'd love to smell it.
So this is the food.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Pineapple.
That's like a pina colada in a jar.
I moved to Canada from the Netherlands 4 years ago. So, you know, I go to the falls, the fireworks, you know, Clifton Hill, yes. And that's it. I do like is Niagara-on-the-Lake.
Okay.
Like the wineries, like the best.
Okay.
Yeah, because they sell peach wine.
That's cool.
So it's my family farm. Started as a livestock farm. We transitioned to a tree nursery. We specialize in evergreen, from anything from Colorado blue.
And you've been Niagara your entire life?
Yeah, Chippewa, so about 10 minutes.
What do you think is an underrated activity?
I know like Warner's Pumpkin Patch is a great spot, especially come fall. But other than that, I really like wineries. I mean, I'm sure you get that answer a lot, but Niagara-on-the-Lake is great. Gorge is beautiful.
Our brand is called Niagara Craft Soap, all natural oils. We infuse many of the oils with other products like calendula. We have 2 different types, which is plant-based as well as tallow-based. I wanted to showcase what Niagara Falls and the beauty of Niagara Falls has.
What's your favorite part of the Niagara region?
That has to be, I'm gonna say Niagara-on-the-Lake. Whole winery experience, the whole explodes with flowers and all freshness, and tourism there is certainly exceptional.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Love that. All right, we got the bagel. I am way too excited about this. We ended up getting a pretzel breakfast bagel. If there's anything we learned today, it's that we need to go to a farm and we need to go to a winery, and that's exactly what we're gonna do. Oh, whoa, that's like unreal. This is worth it. And we've made it to our first farm, which is the Neob Lavender Farm in Niagara-on-the-Lake. This might just be Ontario's largest lavender farm. We're gonna go meet the founder, Melissa, and hear from her what makes this farm so special and a must visit.
Well, we're located in Niagara-on-the-Lake. We have over 20,000 lavender plants that flower.
Wow.
We have the white lavender, the light purple, the dark purple. It's absolutely stunning. And now we have 5 stores open. So after this, we turn it into essential oils, put it into our products, and then all our wildflowers come to life. So we've got cosmos and zinnias and all sorts of pretty things. You can pick the flowers.
This we have to check out, because that looks really cool.
You know what? I'll give you a little basket. You can pick your own bouquet. Let's see your creativeness.
Okay.
Your objective is to fill the container, and you go through and pick the flowers. Find a beautiful plant you want to pick. You want to follow it down the stem, but you don't want to cut it all the way down because we do want it to continue to regrow. So you do want to get a nice bouquet like so.
And then in addition to coming here, what do you think then other people should check out around the area?
Oh, you got to add a bit of wineries in there for sure. D. Simon, our neighbor over there, he's got award-winning wines.
Cool.
But then there's like breweries in town too, which the Oast House, they make a lavender beer sometimes.
I've heard about that. So Melissa was nice enough to show us how to clip a zinnia off camera, but we're gonna try our own here. Gonna scout for a good one. I'm liking this one over here. Or, let's do a different color. All right, I like this one. So, oh yeah, she also gave us lavender-infused drinks, which I'm gonna try after we make this. This is the example one. She did a fantastic job. Now, we wanna make sure we pick some that aren't necessarily full bloom here. Why a farm in the Niagara Peninsula also is such an important thing to visit when you're here if you're looking for an authentic experience is because it's such an important region for Ontario's agriculture sector. This whole area is in between the Niagara Escarpment and Lake Ontario, meaning that it's bordered by 2 climate moderating geological landmasses. With Lake Ontario and the escarpment, temperatures here typically don't range any farther than -18 and 30 degrees Celsius, meaning that it's the perfect temperatures for things like ice wine, grapes, and growing fruits in the summer because it doesn't get too cold and it doesn't get way too hot for things to grow. And we've got to do our little taste test of some lavender water. By the way, this is a purple tractor. That's pretty cool. Whoa, that is like a punch of lavender. Very refreshing. Like all of the destinations in today's video, we need to do our tourist trap rating. I think this is a 4 out of 10 tourist trap, which is a good thing. It's a very great, genuine experience, just very wholesome, and I think just worthwhile.
Taking us to our next destination, which is an absolute must for anybody in the area to visit. Niagara-on-the-Lake earns its reputation as one of the prettiest towns in North America, not just because of how it looks, but because of how well preserved its identity is. The entire town feels like it was frozen in time, with rows of 19th century buildings, horse-drawn carriages, and a perfectly manicured garden lining Queen Street. But what truly makes it special are the details, like the Niagara-on-the-Lake Golf Club, which holds the title of the oldest golf course in North America.
Now, the Grief store is one of our favorite stores to go into. And Michaela's excited because it's cherry season and they got cherry jam. Ooh, these are quite cool. Hey?
Yeah.
That's crazy. It's cherry season. You got the Greaves. Can't go wrong. Apricot, cherry jam. And we're thinking a little lunch before our next destination. We got the turkey. I'm way too excited for this. 100% worth the visit.
It's also a town with deep roots in Canadian history. This was one of the first capitals of Upper Canada, and it played a key role in the War of 1812. You can walk streets where major events took place and visit buildings that have been standing for over 2 centuries. One of those is the old apothecary tucked right into downtown, which is now a museum. And so is Niagara-on-the-Lake a little touristy? Yeah, a bit. The crowds can get huge here, but somehow it still maintains its authentic charm, giving it a 5 out of 10 on our list today because it is an absolute must visit and is 100% worth it.
So with that, we have one more thing on our list today that we need to check off. It's a very busy day, so let's go get it done. And it comes as another farmer's market recommendation. All right, and we've now made it to Trius Winery. When you look this place up, it goes down as the most Instagrammable winery in Niagara's wine region. There's a very obvious reason as to why. You gotta go into the bathtub that I'm sure 1,000 other people have been in.
But honestly, visiting Trius Winery was easily one of the highlights of our time in Niagara-on-the-Lake. The tour itself was surprisingly informative and engaging. For $100, the tour included 4 tastings across different wine styles, and each one had its own story and depth. Walking through the vineyards and cellars, you really get a sense of the craft behind the bottle. The property is also stunning. But that said, they've definitely leaned into the tourism side of things at the end of the tour, where you're brought into a dedicated photo op room clearly designed for Instagram. Feels like a shift from authenticity of the rest of the experience, but if you lean into it, it's still a ton of fun. Meaning it gets a 6 out of 10 on the trap ranking, not because it's not worth visiting, but because this room comes as a shock. In a good way though. And with that said, you should definitely go and visit a winery when you do go to the Niagara region.
You made it into the infinity room. What's your thoughts? What's this infinity room like?
It's cool.
It's
I
cool.
like it.
You can see into infinity.
All right, and that is gonna bring us to the end of today's video, answering our original question, is Niagara Falls a tourist trap? I think the answer is it depends on where you go in the area. If there's anything that I've learned from this experience, it's that I think it depends where you go in the area that's gonna lead you down that tourist path. I think there's just so much here that's still left unexplored from what we've seen today that I definitely think is worth taking the time to actually visit. So with that, we're gonna make some more videos about the surrounding area here in the future. If that interests you, please subscribe. And with that, I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching.